Welcome to Madison City Channel's Know Your Candidates interviews, co-sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Dane County. I'm your interviewer, Louise Robbins, and I would like to introduce Mara Eisch, running for Alder from District 10. As we begin, please tell our viewers a bit about how your educational, vocational, and civic experience has prepared you for the position and why you decided to run for Alder.
Well, thank you for that question. And I want to say thank you to the League of Women Voters and Madison City Channel to providing this opportunity to share this video with the residents of my district. So I believe that my background and civic participation that has prepared me for being Alder of District 10 is first and foremost related to my nursing career. My professional background as a nurse and as an educator affords me skills in assessment, which is really data gathering, and communication and problem solving. No patient ever came to me and pulled a little book out of their pocket and said, "This is how I work, take care of me." And so nurses learn assessment, data gathering to facilitate the achievement of patient goals. And I want to point out that it was patient goals. Much like that, as an Alder, I'm not looking to solve my problems individually. I'm looking to work with residents to address their needs. I've been a member of the Summit Woods Neighborhood Association since its inception, and I'm currently the treasurer. The reason I am motivated to run for Alder at this time is, first of all, I have time. And secondly, my neighborhood just went through a process with the city in terms of a development that was proposed. And I don't feel like they were heard. Somebody listened, but I don't feel like they were heard. So I'm wondering where else that's happening in the city.
Thank you. What issue or issues have you identified as being of primary concern to the residents of your district, and how would you approach tackling them?
As I talk to people in my district, the concerns are the same as they are for other districts: safety, crime, gun violence, speeding, racial inequality, social injustice, fear, food deserts, housing needs, transportation needs, healthcare needs, the list goes on and on. But people across the district experience these issues differently. And so in terms of addressing them, to me, the big question to ask is, how can I help you help yourself? I don't think the city can fix all of these problems for everyone, but how can we help people address those needs themselves? Part of asking residents what their concerns are is part of that needs assessment in identifying specific problems. I cover a district that is really quite broad in terms of income, housing, housing needs, which seems to be the #1 priority, along with food. Safety, again, is priority for everyone, but it's different in how it's perceived.
There will be an advisory referendum on the ballot in April about a number of modifications to the Common Council, including changing the number of members, making it full-time, and changing the term of office. Which of the ideas being advanced do you embrace? Why or why not?
Well, I'm grateful that it's going to be advisory. And I haven't been part of the discussion leading up to the point of this being an advisory referendum. I have concerns about us moving to a full-time Alder, in that my concern is creating career politicians. Is that necessarily a bad thing? I don't know. Making our districts twice as big, does that really nurture the development of neighborhoods? I'm really looking forward to the results of this referendum, and will advance as how my district advises and what they would want. It's going to be a tough transition either way.
Thank you. Homelessness, evictions, and lack of affordable housing are vexing problems for Madison that seem to have been exacerbated in the time of COVID-19. What ideas would you advance or support to help solve these problems?
They're two very big and different issues. In terms of housing, the housing needs are very varied across Madison. Madison has only a 47% home ownership rate, which really surprised me. The home ownership rate of Oregon is 72% and Wanakee is 76%. I only expect that ownership percentage to go down with the thousands of apartments that we are building in the city of Madison right now. The other issue is related to how we define what homelessness and home needs are. For example, homeless need a shelter. They need something to right now. We look at low income housing and affordable housing as percentages of the mean Dane County income. The problem is in my district, I have an area where 41% of the households are single female. So when we're looking at percent of income in a 2-household earner home, that automatically puts these women at a deficit in trying to compete for affordable housing. So I think we need to look at approaching the homelessness, the low-income housing, and the affordable housing, specifically in the targeting the needs of each of those groups, and not thinking that one solution is going to fit all.
Thank you. With the selection of a new police chief and the creation of a community oversight board, there's a lot of attention focused on policing and criminal justice, both from the perspective of racial equity in law enforcement and the concern of many citizens that in fact crime, especially car thefts and home burglaries, is increasing and that police response is inadequate. How would you deal with these concerns?
When I said that safety was a concern across my district, but perceived differently, this is exactly what I was talking about. So the car thefts and the theft within the vehicles and then the theft of the vehicles is a concern for a big part of my district. The other part of my district is looking at too much police response and feeling that that is not appropriate. So I am really looking forward to working with the Oversight Committee and the new police chief in looking at how we address these issues. How we approach them is going to have to be very broad if we're going to address it from each of these different perspectives.
Thank you. Madison businesses of all kinds have been severely stressed during the past year. What, if anything, would you propose to support business revitalization?
I think in terms of business revitalization, we need to look at what each of those businesses needs. Certainly the restaurant industry has taken an extreme hit in this COVID time period. Again, we're not going to have a one-size-fits-all for assisting companies. What do very small businesses need? Some of them will not even qualify for assistance in federal or state programs. What can we do to help them? Other businesses are specifically looking at getting their payroll needs met until the economy starts to pick up. That's a very different need to be met. And some are looking at growth in response to the changes in our lives due to the COVID. So I think each of them is going to be different. We need to hear all of them and then come up with a plan that addresses all of them. I'm really hoping we're able to target businesses on State Street and bring that experience of State Street back to Madison.
Thank you. What measures should Madison take to increase our city's environmental sustainability?
I think Madison is already taking some of those steps in terms of sustainability in managing, in changing our transportation systems, in managing our air quality. We need to do more in terms of our lakes. I've been listening to the committee meetings of Sustain Madison and the work that they're looking at in terms of composting, recycling, air, wind, solar is really quite impressive. And as Alder, I would really like to be part of that committee and help develop that further.
Thank you. On what committees would you like to serve and why?
The committees I'm looking to serve on are, as I mentioned, Sustain Madison. I'm also looking at any of the committees that are addressing homelessness and aging. I'm impressed with my district and the disbursement of an aging population across that and how that is really very different. Transportation, because transportation is often the barrier to many people being able to help themselves. And then the community block grants. I think being able to be part of helping community members help the community is a committee I'd like to be part of.
Thank you. What would you like to say to the viewing audience as we conclude this interview?
I would like to say that I am not a career politician. I'm going to trip up on using words and phrases incorrectly or be misinterpreted because I'm not a career politician. But before you judge what I say, please call me, send me an email, talk to me. I am a white female single mother who has raised 4 boys, 4. I'm coming from a very different perspective than a lot of people within my district of multiple races and family units. So please, let's talk. We're not going to achieve change in the city by looking that we're looking for until we start to talk to each other. And I mean people of color and white people. We have to begin talking to each other. We need to talk to each other about our experiences, about our journey, about our desires for our community. To you, I look like a successful white female. I started out as a widow with 3 children at 23. I had no education. Yes, there were opportunities available to me because of being a single white female widowed, but we have to reach out and use those opportunities. So I'm asking you, talk to your neighbors, talk to somebody at church, talk to a coworker. Find out what their life journey has been, where their future goals are going, and how much you actually really have in common. I invite you to join me in going first in starting this conversation. See who you can speak to this week that you haven't talked to before. Thank you. I'd appreciate your vote on April 6th.
I want to thank Mara Eisch for speaking with us and the viewing audience for taking the time to know your candidates. As with every election, please vote. On behalf of Madison City Channel and the League of Women Voters of Dane County, I thank you for joining us.